Okay, so here's where we're at. You know, growing up in Donegal and growing up in Ireland, I was surrounded by Irish people. There were no Africans, there were no other cultures, there were just Irish people. So I got a very close look and encounter and experience of what Irish people were like and what Irish people are like. And the first thing I'll say about Irish people is that they're kind, they're considerate, they're caring. Largely, they're law abiding. But they're also traumatized because growing up in a house where there's fights between parents, being abused as a kid, being beaten, being excluded, all of these events traumatize people, and they certainly traumatize children. And the Catholic Church, in conjunction with the English government, they used that fact that we were all traumatized to control us. And they did it with guilt and fear and shame. And Irish people are still a bit prone to all those three things, but that's exactly now what the government is doing. They're abusing the Irish people all over again, having taken a page from that book to make us feel guilty and shameful and responsible for something that's it's not our responsibility. I hear people talking all the time about how Ireland has changed. I remember when people would leave the key in the front door or the back door on the latch in case a neighbour had a problem. That's gone. And I also remember a time when people sent their children to school and they knew that the children would come home safely at the end of the day, that there was no danger or no threat. That's gone. So one of my reasons for standing in the European elections in June is to prioritise Irish people for housing, for social services, for mental health services, and for all the things that rightly belong to them. Because now we're being told by the government that we have a care of duty for people we don't know. We don't know their backstory, we don't know about them, we don't know where they came from. Well, where's the care of duty to the Irish? People talk all the time and they say, oh, you don't like immigrants. Don't be ridiculous. My father was an immigrant. My mother's from Artane. My father was from Nigeria. And I grew up in Killybegs in County Donegal. And what I experienced there was the good nature, the kindness and the generosity of Irish people. Sure, we got a few nutters. What country doesn't? But now what we have is a situation which is becoming untenable. And we're being abused and traumatized all over again using the same tools to tell us that we should feel guilt and shame and concern and responsibility for people we don't know, people from the other side of the world. It's a very hard thing sometimes to acknowledge, but being nice is kind of what got us into this situation. And we're brought up to be nice. You have to be nice. But sometimes when you're honest, it's not nice. I always say that, people love your honesty until you're honest with them. And then it's like, whoa. But, that's the cost of not being nice, is speaking your mind and telling your truth. And you're entitled to tell your truth. And don't let anybody tell you that your opinions are not acceptable, that you're racist, that you're homophobic, that you're transphobic. You're entitled to your opinion. Don't let anybody take that away from you, nor should they be allowed to take away your bodily integrity, which is what this new treaty by the World Health Organization, the bunch of crooks, what they want to do is to take away sovereignty from all of the countries in the world. And this mass immigration, which is happening all over the world. Ireland needs controlled immigration. We need doctors, we need nurses, we need somebody to work in Circle K. But unvetted immigration is a recipe for disaster. And what we're seeing now, unfortunately, and the government are pushing and promoting this, that if you have any aspect of a question regarding immigration, you're against immigration, you don't like immigrants. Bullshit. The thing is, the government's response is to say, we fingerprint people, we take their photograph, we document them. Yeah. And what about the ones who are spoiling the party for everyone, which are the ones that are appearing in Dublin Airport, getting off planes without passports, having got on with passports? Well, why would you do that? Unless you didn't want to be identified. And why wouldn't you want to be identified? Aren't you coming looking for a new life? Aren't you fleeing war? Why would you be concerned about being identified? If you're up to no good, you'd be concerned. So what this is all about for me is the realization that The exploitation of our good nature has been extreme, both by the church and now by the state. And they make you feel guilty because they want you to care about something that has nothing to do with you. But they don't want you to care about your own people. That's the differentiation. And when I hear Leo Varadkar say, Irish people have no right to say who lives in their community, but he does? How does that work? What really it comes down to is this, is I think we as a nation need to grow up and accept the fact that we will not be controlled, manipulated and made to feel guilty about something that has nothing to do with us, and about something that is causing us to feel unsafe in our own country, which is making the streets unsafe. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I've traveled the world. I've seen what happens next, and it's not good. So the next time somebody comes to you with a bleeding heart and wants you to care, you know what you say to them? I don't care. I don't care if you want a new life. I don't care if you want a better job. I don't care if you want unemployment benefit and sit on your arse all day. I don't care if you're fleeing from war. There are other countries that are in a much better position, much bigger, that can help you. We have become the laughing stock of the world. A minister recently in Gaza actually came out and said the following: why don't these people in Gaza just go to Ireland? Ireland. He's in Israel. I don't think the rest of the world hasn't woken up to what's happening in Ireland. They know exactly what's happening in Ireland. And while people are being nice and not saying what they think for fear of being branded racist, homophobic, transphobic, say what you think. Your experience hopefully has brought you to some conclusions about life, about people, and about what's happening. So speak up. And let them call you names. Doesn't matter. Name calling is what children do. You know, we have a government who seem hell-bent on ignoring the one aspect, which is the people who come here to help, to work, to contribute. They're now being put in danger by the government's policy by allowing unvetted people to come into the country. And if you don't think that's a recipe for disaster, you're living on cloud nine. Where would you go if you were on the run from the government in your own country, or you committed a crime? You go to somewhere where they would give you the highest unemployment rates, they would give you the best chance of your own door accommodation, they would give you a medical card, and they would give you anonymity. How can you identify somebody for committing a crime when you don't know who they are? So people need to wake up and stop being nice. In truth, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care that other people are waiting for services which belong to the Irish, waiting for houses which belong to the Irish, waiting for dental appointments, hospital appointments, which the Irish people have to be prioritised for. So there's such a thing as an opt-out, and our government is perfectly capable of opting out of this one thing and dealing with it, the illegal entry into the country, for which, by the way, you do that, that's a crime. That makes you a criminal. And you know as well as I do that if Irish people don't pay the TV licence, they're criminals. If they don't pay their fines, they're criminals. But this one thing that the government is blindsiding all of us with by pretending that they somehow care, they care about these people on the other side of the world, they don't give a shit. So next time somebody tries to make you feel guilty about not caring, just tell them, I don't care. I care about the Irish. So when I run for Parliament, the European Parliaments in June, I will be doing so to prioritise Irish people for all the services and all the things that their country owes them because they own them. This is not to the exclusion of other people. We've been the most generous people in the world. We're famous for it. But if it doesn't start at home, then it's fake. And that's what the government are doing right now today. They're pretending that they care about this one, they care about that one, and all the while ignoring the Irish. Have they forgotten that they were supposed to be serving the Irish, that they were supposed to be speaking up for the Irish, but now being Irish is a dirty word. Talking Irish, they'll probably want to put that on hate speech soon. So people really need to wake up, and the next time somebody tries to guilt trip you into accepting unvetted people into your community, you tell them, I don't care.